Hey everyone, welcome to this new moon Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for the new moon on November 7th, Wednesday of 2018. And this video will be for the surrounding days around that new moon. All right, so new moon in Libra. If you were expecting me to say Scorpio, be sure to check out that link down below. We are using the actual size of the constellations called True Sidereal Astrology, which does change the signs from mainstream astrology. All right, so Libra, the scales, great time now, slowly but subtly as we get into this new lunar cycle of developing these qualities of essentially balance. Right, so this can be balance, of course, in relationships. Oftentimes Libra is associated with this. So mutuality, harmony, reciprocity could likely be themes and great, again, energies to develop. But also within ourselves, right? Finding out if there are things in our life that can be balanced, and bringing things back into that balance is great with this. So with this new moon, we do have some easy aspects with it. We have a trine up to Neptune, so there could be very good receptivity with this lunar cycle. Also a sextile up to Pluto gives us some empowerment, or at least an openness for some sort of change and things of that nature. All right, so let's take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, so here's the chart for the new moon. So the new moon will be on Wednesday at 11:01 a.m. in America, if you want to do the calculation for where that will be for you in the world. But for most of us, for all intents and purposes, here around Wednesday. Now, as we approach Wednesday, obviously, we want to let the energies die down a bit. It's a great time for doing some clearing, essentially clearing the previous cycle to make space for what will be these new beginnings. So the new beginnings here about Libra, the scales, it's all about centering the scales. Essentially, during this time, it's great and might come quite easy to see both sides of the scales, or both sides of the coin, so to speak, right? And so with this sort of awareness of both sides, again, either personally or interpersonally, it really does help us find that balance. So themes likely that we are going to be seeing in this cycle and qualities we can be developing will likely be around fairness, what's right, what's fair, equality, justice, what's the right thing, doing the right thing, right? And in those relationships, mutuality, harmony, and reciprocity. So a really good time to just sit with the energies, see where this is starting to come up for you personally, and start to develop these sort of qualities of balance, reciprocity, right, and fairness, justness, all of these types of things, which is again about bringing things back into balance by seeing both sides of the coin, or both sides of the situation, or seeing the dual aspects of life, because as human beings, we do see in duality, right? The quote-unquote good, the quote-unquote bad, for example. And so by seeing both, we transcend that. We see the value of both, right? We see that the whole, you could say the universe is this mechanism of balance, right? Which is where concepts of like karma come into play, which is the universe essentially always bringing things back into balance. So how can we readjust to that? Well, how can we harmonize with that? These natural principles and laws of life, these natural laws. These laws of relationships, laws of balance, laws of karma, right? And sort of be an embodiment of that, or bring things consciously back into that. All right, so that's the new moon. Now down below, I will put which house this is for each of the signs. So if you do want to see specifically which area of your life will likely be the theme now in terms of these new beginnings, do check down below. And that is for your sidereal sign. So you will want to check your the chart calculator there if you don't know your sidereal signs. All right, so with this new moon, we do have a trine up to Neptune, so there is some easy aspects with it. Also a sextile up to Pluto. No major challenging things with it, but again, it will depend on our personal charts, of course. For example, the new moon could be squaring one of your natal planets, but collectively, it's certainly easing towards the more supportive side of it. Now with the trine up to Neptune, there's this probably very easy to embody a bit of acceptance right now and during this cycle. And so receptivity can be very easy to come by. We're more accepting of what is, and in those relationships more accepting perhaps. So qualities like compassion, understanding, right, can come easy. And on a personal note, it's just a very good time for a bit of that spiritual development. Letting the mind wander a bit, sort of listening to our intuition, listening to dreams, doing spiritual activities or creative things can be very supportive during this new cycle. Now, with the sextile up to Pluto, there is this opening for empowerment. In fact, although sextiles are quite secondary, they're not as strong as, say, trines, for example, there is still this opening, and this could be for empowerment. So if you are feeling a bit of that, it's a great time for empowering ourselves through change. Maybe making changes, doing things we maybe normally wouldn't do because we have that sort of willingness to face our fears. We can be seeing the truth, seeing the depth of things, the truth of things, right? And in that way, making those changes, or at least there's an opening for that. And we do have a lot of awareness of the deeper dimensions right now with Mercury, who's recently shifted into Scorpio. So we certainly do have that deeper mind and deeper awareness and understanding available with that Mercury. All right, so that's the aspects with the new moon. Now, it's always important to look at the ruler of the sign. So in this case, Libra, the dispositor, and she is, of course, still retrograde. So one thing to strongly consider with this new moon, this new beginning about these matters of balance and harmony and all of this, is that a lot of this is still being reevaluated, right? Venus retrograde in Virgo is still maybe reevaluating things like our relationship life, maybe our values on an essential level. We're learning about this stuff, reconsidering it. And with Virgo, you could say reworking it, because with Venus through here, it's really that we're incorporating this improvement-oriented energy into our relationships, right? In other words, we could be improving our relationship life, or seeing what can be fixed or developed with it or reworked with it, for example. All right, so fundamentally, this is about our values. So a great time to still be reevaluating, reexamining, and reworking our values, which is contributing to these new beginnings. All right, so here are the aspects for those of you who want to see. Essentially, a lot of what you're seeing here is the lunar aspects with the new moon, the trine up to Neptune and the sun, for example. Now we do have Venus going into, or rather Venus trining up to Mars, going into what'll be Thursday and Friday after the new moon. And so this is quite nice. It's a good synergy here between those, again, Venusian things like relationships and our sort of side that wants to be tactful and find harmony. And this is a good supportive aspect to Mars, which is our direct side. So as we get into Friday, this really good, I think, balance or support between our direct and receptive side. You could say our masculine and feminine side, our assertive and also tactful and giving and reciprocating side, right? So with that trine. So we'll probably feel that mostly on Friday, but we could start to feel that after the new moon on Thursday, after the new moon on Wednesday. All right, everyone, so that's the new moon in a nutshell. Most important thing is that it is a time of new beginnings. Do give it time, sit with the energies, see how these qualities are coming about, and being receptive to them, embodying them, is what this cycle will be about. How can we bring in more of this balance into our life, maybe into our relationships, through fairness, equality, justice, mutuality, right? And these types of things. All right, so everyone have a fantastic new moon. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you all on Wednesday for the daily forecast. Take care.